I'm very grateful and I appreciate giving me this opportunity to see the stakeholders, determining factor of the SEG community, of the SEG, Okrika. I've gone around since I declared my intent on the 20th of August, and as a learned person, the first thought I had was to find out from the people what really is bothering them. If I want to represent them in the federal constituency, what is known as best practice is to find out what is their problem as the stakeholders, as the end users. I might have seen and noticed a number of things, but I felt seeing and noticing those things are not sufficient. I have to go to the grassroots and ask them what really is your problem, because what I see is not what is bothering them on their feet. I'm not really here to talk about my credibility and competency because I felt I've already done that. I feel this should be an opportunity to present to the stakeholders based on my findings, what will be my manifesto and what will be my mandate if I'm elected to represent the people at the federal constituency. Just for those that do not know about me, I've been in the oil and gas over 16 years and I've never bothered about politics because I have the ideology that politics is for the corrupt persons, group. It's, you don't have people with pure brain, pure mind going into politics, and it's actually meant for those that are incompetent. But in 2015, I had an incident that made me to realize that if we leave out those things to those that we think are criminally minded, definitely when there's a criminal mind will bring forth criminal activity and will become chaotic. And I found out that we, Okrika said, we're so blessed. I mean, we're abundantly blessed and yet we're very poor. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I decided in 2019 election to go in there to redress the underdevelopment that we're facing now. And that's why I want to present this. So I'm going to take my presentation quickly. Just 15 slides. Next slide, please. Okay, before I decided to go into this, I had my vision for Okrika. I'm talking about Okrika and Ogu-Bolo. Just like Martin Luther King had his own dream, I have my vision. And vision is the most important thing. It's not fund. I might not have the fund, but I have a vision. And I believe sharing that vision with the impacted people, my people, and they share this vision with me, supporting me, this vision will be actualized. The first thing I look at is enjoyment of rights and privileges as host community. We are host community to OML 18 and former OML 54, which is OPL 2005 and 2006. But we're not enjoying that benefit at all. Why? The people at the helms of affairs do not have this knowledge. And the Bible says, without knowledge, my people perish. What am I going to do? Of course, because I have over 16 years oil and gas experience, I'm going to be adding value to us, enjoying our privileges by ensuring I promote better collaboration between us and the operators. I'm talking about EraFreak and Eraton. I have amended the MOU with one of the operators, and one of the key things I captured there is that 60% of their workforce must come from the host communities and the impacted communities. And I'll be having meetings with some stakeholders with these operators to ensure this is realized. And also, I noticed that they are now awarding contracts to our community vendors. Their claim is that we don't have technical skills. Yes, we don't. But being over the years in oil and gas, I know every technical company that we could bring together as a joint venture with our host community vendor to work together to address the high value technical contract so that technology will be passed to our community vendors. In that way, people, our host community vendors, we grow the technical skills, not only to compete for tenders in Okrika, but even the whole of Nigeria, and they'll be financially enabled too. So that's one of my vision. Next slide, please. I will take it quickly because I'm told I have 15 minutes. Enable and safe space for businesses. I see Okrika OguBolo become an enabled environment for businesses to strive. When talking to the women, they told me that they need a modernized marketplace, and I told them they deserve it. We can't carry the crude from here and go put beautiful ShopRite skyscrapers in Lagos and Abuja, meanwhile the money is coming from here. Of course, I know as much as they need a modernized market, it will be tailored to what trade they're into. So that's one of the projects I'm looking at. Next slide. And during my sensitization, they brought to me that they really need a bridge. Of course, they talked about the bridge in Isaka, the bridge in here in Okrika, and even when I traveled to Bolo, I wasn't too happy about one tiny bridge. We almost bared up the bridge, and I was like, first thing first, before anybody dies here, this bridge must be taken care of. We know very well when we have things like bridges, places for escape, because the way it is now, if there's any war, any crisis, we're hemmed in. So bridges are required, apart from businesses to strive, as an escape route. You know, working in industry, one of the things they teach us is safety. Do things right safely. Next slide, please. A revamp our educational system. I see Okrika OguBolo educational system improve to world-class standard. Now, I noticed that, I'll take Isaka first. It's a sports institute. Wrong. A technocrat to tell you wrong. Isaka is surrounded by sea and far away from the city. We talk about the educational system here. What we have is 1979. I'm sorry to say it, after my first degree, I told myself with the present educational system, I won't do my master's. So I had to do my master's abroad. I'm doing my second master's, LMM law, had to be done abroad. Why? Our educational system is 1979. That is far end. One of the bills I'm going to push when I go to the National Assembly is for this to be looked at, because education is the bedrock for success. We all know that. If our children are not educated to compete with the world, we'll be left behind, and that's why we actually call on that developed, because we lack education. Provision of scholarship to indigenous undergraduates, whose parents and guardians are genuinely unable to afford this. This actually should be taken care of by the operators. Really, this should be taken care of by the operators. It's in the MOU. But also the government is supposed to take care of this. I remember when I was in school, I enjoyed bursary from, even if I didn't need it, because my dad was well-to-do, so he took care of us. But I enjoyed bursary. So I wonder how those whose parents are fishermen can manage without bursary. I understand it was tough since 2014. So I'm going to fight for this to come back to the system. And secondary educational truly free. OguBolo did it. Why can't we do it now that oil price is higher? That's another fight. And reintroduction of the library information system. Information is power. We know that any man, that the difference between me and the next man is because I'm more informed. We need to get our youths to be more informed, and I'm looking at instituting a library system here where they can go in, the students are going to studies. Of course, it's going to be an e-library with restrictions so they don't go into pornographic sites. Next slide. Why are our youths restive? They are so restive because they have enough energy in them, but we're not utilizing it. In my walk round, every morning and evening, I walk around, practically for now, Ogoloma, and I found that a lot of them are not working. They are not doing, practically not doing something. When I ask them, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, I'm not hustling. What are you doing? That's the devil's workshop. So I'm going to put in programs to ensure that they are actively involved. We're talking about, if you go to the next slide, we're talking about, next slide please. Okay, it's before the next slide. Go back. We're talking about, no, go back, stay here. We're talking about vocational skills, which is through skill acquisition, because not everybody went to school. So for those that have passed the school age, what do? We need to teach them how to be production minded. I found out that they all rely on whatever, somebody give me money, that is going to make them go into crime. But when they start thinking of producing, they start being producers, not consumers. frankly, I found out that we don't produce anything. If you go to Abia State, they produce slippers, they produce sandal, they produce cloths. What are our people producing apart from oil and gas? That's what I'm talking about. Next slide. Health is wealth for the elderly. Anyone that is a civil servant, when they retire, can go and sleep. Why? Their retirement benefit comes every month. They receive a lot. Okay, because they serve the government. They serve in the government institute. How about the fishermen, the traders, the farmers that are not government staff? What happens to them when they are 70? Who takes care of them? I think it's time Africa gets up to this responsibility that as it is overseen to take care of the elderly. I don't want the elderly dying and cursing us. I believe anytime our old parents die, they are abusing us in their hearts. They are cursing us. They are not blessing us the way Joseph blessed his children. Because they died out of hunger. They died out of sickness. So I looked at it. I remember, I'm not promoting APC, but I remember the governor, Amechi, had a program where he made health services free for the elderly. And I thought we should reinstitute that. Establishment of care system where the elderly from the age of 70 and above are not neglected to fend for themselves. How? By giving them free medical care, by annual medical checkup and monthly stipends, at least so that they can bless us. Next slide. One of the visions that bothered me most is the black suit. Years long ago, we were using candle. When we wake up, we see black soot on our nursery. But this time, it has moved from our nursery to our houses, the floor, everywhere. That means the environment is grossly polluted. And we know why. It's not just the air. The ground is polluted. When the ground is polluted, the water is polluted. It's a matter of time before mutation sets in. We start having newborn babies, having extra fingers, or whatever. How do we stop that? We know our people do bunkering. I can't go there because they have to use it to live. We are supposed to have resource control. We are being we are being cheated. So our sons have to go into bunkering. How do I protect them while protecting my people from the environmental degradation they cost? We will have to look at that option. Is it a modular refinery or what can be done to address that? And that will be when I get to the Federal House of Representatives. Next slide, please. Okrika right now is relying on oil and gas alone. What happens when our oil is finished? What happens when oil is now 1 naira? Years ago, hundreds of years ago, charcoal was like diamond. Now charcoal is used to fry, to prepare corn, and you know the food charcoal is used for. If you're giving a truckload of charcoal, you look at the person and say, "Are you okay?" Crude oil is going to be like that soon. How do we prepare now for the future? What we prepare now will be what will be in the future. So I'm talking about self-sufficiency, teaching our people to make use of the land, the sea we have, the agriculture, as for mechanized fishing. I met with the fishermen and they asked me for boats. I told them I cannot give you boats. I expect you to start thinking about a trolley, because I expect you to go to the sea and catch millions of fish. A boat will not feed all of us. That's what I'm talking about, mechanized farming, so that we can also start exporting fish out to generate fund. So that's what I'm talking about, self-sufficient. So next slide. Then other infrastructure development which I intend to push with the operators, apart from the constituency project funds that will be released when I'm there. The people told me they have electricity supply shortage. They told me about the challenge with street light. They had solar and it was stolen, and I have to brainstorm what's the best way forward so they don't vandalize. We have some areas that have borehole system issue. Drainage, I notice, is an issue. Waste management, I see everyone throwing things around. When we take care of our environment, it will take care of us. Reconstruction of refinery road has been awarded several times. They never execute. I will address in the next slide. And the water closet system, which is a public toilet. What we have is actually an eyesore. We're a host community. Why are we using what we have? We should have a WC system. It doesn't cost much. The money is coming from us. Why should it be the people in Lagos and Abuja enjoying that WC when the money is coming from us? Next slide. All of these can only be achieved when we have good governance. Good governance cannot be given by corrupt leaders. What I see reign in Nigeria and even Africa is nepotism, where the unqualified is qualified. Corruption cannot give back to incorruption. So a man can only give what he has. I'm giving this because this is me. This is what I have. Appointing someone else to go in there, they will never be able to give what they have because they are who they are. So how can we ensure that we curb corruption and eradicate bad governance, especially when it comes to constituency project funding? What happens? They award the project to some company and give them 80%, and the money goes back to them and it's never executed. How do we curb that? I'm going to come up with a bill where for each community we're going to raise board members, committee members that will be representatives from the Chief Council of Chiefs, the youth bodies, the women, the state elder statesmen, even the students. They will constitute this committee. They are to supervise their projects, not just supervise. They are to initiate the tendering process, to the award and to the supervision, so that if there's any corruption, we know who to hold. The indigenous know that these committee members are the ones that stole the money. We know who to hold. My own will be to approve and review and approve whatever they place on my table when I ensure that it's consistent with industry best practice. So that's what I'm going to introduce. And most importantly, I'm going to introduce what we do in the oil and gas system where we don't see corruption. When you give an award to a contractor, for example, the bridge, they must give us an advance payment guarantee. They must give us performance bond. Why are they to give me this too? So when money is released and they don't perform, I know where to go and get the money from the bank. So when I have this too, nobody is going to run away with any money because I'm going to take it from the bank. What Okrika said is going to be decided in 2009. God gives to a nation the leaders they deserve. It's another time for us to determine the leadership, the kind of leadership we want to forge us forward from an undeveloped community to a developed community. Dcns Gracetiti has a vision, and I presented the vision to you, and I seek your support and your grace to achieve this vision if I'm elected as a Federal House of Rep representing Okrika Ogu-Bolo Constituency. Rebecca.